Probably not even until like 5 years ago, I even realized that like, oh my God, that boy in 5th grade, I had a crush on him. Of course I did. Like, what was I thinking?
Today we're going to talk all about being gay with Adam Rippon. Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
So where are you from?
I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Office Scranton.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing like going on there. I had never seen, never encountered, didn't run into any gay people. So my interaction with anyone who was gay was zero.
Were there gay people in your high school, middle school, any of that?
I'm sure there were, and now thinking about it, I'm like, there were a lot of gay people at that high school.
When did you first feel like, oh, I kind of have feelings about the boys?
The first boy I ever had a crush on, I always just thought he was popular and I wanted to hang out with him. Probably not even until like 5 years ago, I even realized that like, oh my God, that boy in 5th grade, I had a crush on him. Of course I did. Like, what was I thinking? He wasn't that popular.
What was his name?
His name was James.
James. That's a cute name.
In 2nd grade, he brought a gun to school. And then he got kicked out of the school and then he was allowed back in 5th grade.
So you like a bad boy.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah.
So, but he was still popular?
No, he wasn't popular at all. That was like my reasoning.
Oh, you thought. Oh,
I was like, oh, he just must be popular. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't?
No.
Oh my God, so they let him back
Yeah,
in
I've been
5th grade?
delusional since day one. I remember another moment where I was skating and there was these 2 girls that I was friends with and one of them said that they went on dicks.com and it wasn't the sporting goods. I remember they said that and I was like, what?
I remember the very first time I ever saw porn. I was probably like 5th grade. I was at a friend's house and she was like, my brother has a porn tape. And we were like, whoa, you know? Naked dude wearing a unicorn like horse mask. I digress. Okay, wait, so you touched on skating, so let's talk about it real quick. Were there other male figure skaters or other boys that were learning too?
If you are training and you're trying to train at a higher level, a lot of the times you'll train during the day when everybody's in school. I didn't have time to hang out with friends. I didn't have time to do anything. And so it was also my reasoning to put like my whole life on hold. And then life takes over. You know, you meet somebody for the first time and you're like, I just can't control what I'm feeling right now. And it was like conversations with that first person that really preempted me to talk to my friends and to my family, because if something happened with this person, I didn't want them to find out after the fact. So.
How old were you when you met this person?
21.
Oh.
They introduced me to the Kinsey scale, kind of introduced me to myself in a way.
What changed between the 21-year-old you and the person that decided that they would go into their sport and be out and proud?
After not making the Olympics for a second time, I was 24, and that really kind of shook me in a few ways. The first way was heading into those games. They were in Russia, and there was this huge anti-gay propaganda law that just came out right before the Olympics were to be in Sochi. And there was a lot of questions of what would that mean for potentially a gay athlete to go there. And nobody really knew. And I was already out to my friends and to my family. And I remember being asked in a few different interviews, like, what were my thoughts on that? And I remember that, like, the general answer from a lot of people was, you know, I'm just going there to focus on my sport. I'm focusing on what I need to do. Like, that's completely something different. That's not what I'm focused on. And I remember that one of my really good friends, one of my best friends, her name is Ashley Wagner, and she was a bronze medalist in the Sochi Olympics. There were only like 2 athletes that were like, it's fucked up. It's ridiculous. It was the first time where I felt like I wanted to say something, and so the next time I was asked in an interview, I said, yeah, I don't agree with that. You go to the Olympics based on your resume of the past 2 years, and my resume for the past 2 years was okay, and I just needed to have one really, really good competition, and I didn't have it. And I didn't go, and I was 24, and at 24, as a figure skater, is kind of it. And I felt like I had lost everything. I remember feeling like incredibly down on myself. I was not in a good place. I felt like, you know, I was depressed. I was upset. It felt like everything had been like, everything I had worked for the past 20 years was gone.
And this was all interconnected. Also, I mean, it's so heartbreaking and also so apropos because you consider it against the landscape of the Sochi Olympics and the landscape against gay people in Russia.
Right.
And here you were navigating that, navigating the feelings of rejection and trying to figure out, where do I go from here? So what got you there?
I remember having a moment where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna train like a crazy person, like I've never trained before. And I'm also going to do it for all the right reasons. And for all the right reasons meant doing it for that little kid in Scranton who didn't know who he was and who felt really uncomfortable and was so confused. I was gonna do it for like the little version of me. I was also going to do it because I felt like in a sport that also has this reputation of being flamboyant and over the top, it's fairly conservative when it comes to the judging, and I was like, I'm gonna push that boundary. And if these are things that keep me from going to the Olympics, then so be it, doesn't matter to me.
It's a lot of energy to always be running a narrative where you're keeping a secret. Every interaction you have is laced with that secret.
Yeah.
And you're hesitant and your trust is very fragile and you don't know, and there's all this extra mental and emotional energy going to a vacuum.
Right.
As opposed to once you come out, you get through the hurdle of coming out, but down the other side, wow, there's so much more space in your body and your mind. You just have more space in your life.
I think that in those moments where I like pushed myself and I stepped out of my own way was when I felt so powerful. And it was almost like intoxicating, that power. And
I think that you are a leader in that. And you are setting an example that will improve the lives of everyone that comes after you.
Like the Olympics for me was the best competition of my life. It wasn't the best I've ever skated, but in the preparation to that, like so many things, I enjoyed the practicing every day before. I enjoyed every minute I was there, and after that I was celebrating with my friends and my family and like the whole world as I was.
Regardless of whether or not you're a public figure or an athlete or any number of an entertainer, you still have the chance to live your life for you, and you're never gonna regret that.
If this is the reason I would never make it to the Olympics, if there's somebody who's like, oh, that's not the image we want to push, would it matter? And the answer was no, it wouldn't matter. But it was because I was in such a low place. And when in that low place is where I think so many great things happen. And I think so often we're so afraid of that feeling of rock bottom, but I think you should be more afraid if you have just these little dips.
You're like, wow, I can't wait to just continue to stay on top.
Right.
The good thing about rock bottom is that the only thing that comes back up is probably the strongest part of yourself.
Exactly.
You know, so there's some benefit to that. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing so many parts of yourself.
It's so my pleasure. I'm such a, like, you know, I love you as like a friend, but such a big fan of you.
Oh, babe.
Babe.
That's right. If people want to find more words of wisdom from your beautiful soul, I believe you have a book that's coming out soon?
I do. It's called Beautiful on the Outside. It's coming out October 15th, so you have to buy it.
That's gonna be rough, Adam. My new book, my third book.
I know, my new third book.
Is coming out October 22nd. So I guess you guys are just gonna have to buy both.
Both.
But buy Adam's. I really think that's fine. You know, people have limited means.
I'm gonna buy yours.
I'll buy yours. We got this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You know, all that good stuff. And mwah, have a great day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should go ice skating. We could do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll try.